Abstract Jelly Project number 1. Welcome, YouTubers. As you can see here, I'm going to work with my jelly plate today. I'm going to use a lot of Golden Open Acrylics. I really like the translucence. I'm using the yellow right now. It's bismuth yellow. I'm braying off onto just a scrap piece of cardstock. And I'm using some homemade circle masks that I made out of plastic divider. I really like these and find myself going to them over and over. I've made circles, rectangles, and squares. You'll see here I'm using a stencil just to create an imprint in the background with smaller circles, pebbles. And I do want to apologize. I know that the light is a little bright. This is the first time using this camera, and I know it's flickering a little bit. I'm working on the lighting for the system. It's real hard to see, but it was just a real pale yellow. And then I'm going to do this again. But first I'm going to remove the ghost print onto a previously jellied piece that had the same golden yellow. And it barely makes a difference on it. So this time I'm going to add a little bit more yellow to the plate. And I'm going to add Basics Raw Sienna to give it a little bit of a golden hue. And I'm really going to work that in with my brayer so that I can get an even mix of both colors. I want that translucency from the open acrylics. And I'm using a Crafter's Workshop for numbers mask. And you'll see I decide here just to go ahead and imprint it all the way in the background. And then lay my circle mask back on top. I'm trying to create some depth with the translucency of this paint. And I do several layers of the same color usually, just moving the mask around to create depth. You'll see that it's a little bit darker. I know it's really hard to see. I decide not to bother with this next ghost print, and I'm just going to add some orange in just a real thin layer, and it's Artist Loft Orange. But I realize in just a few minutes that I don't have enough orange, and I'll add some back in. Once I brayered this pebble in and I lifted up, I saw the yellow and I couldn't see any orange. So that's what made me decide to add some more orange in, because I wanted a little bit more intensity in color. You'll see I'm starting to get some depth and overlapping circles. I try to make sure that when I'm moving the mask around that I don't put them in the same location, especially the big circles that are solid. Next, I go back to the open acrylics again, and I use the yellow and the magenta to create kind of a little pinkish golden color. I really like this combination, but I mix it up really well using the brayer so that I don't get two individual colors, that I am really getting one new color. You could mix it up on a palette and then also. And you'll notice it's so thin you can barely see the color on the jelly plate, but it is there. Once again, I'm adding in my circle mask. I tend to work light to dark when I'm using the golden acrylics, just like when I watercolor. And again, I'm building that depth of color. And we're almost to the end here. My last color that I'm going to add is I'm going to add some basics, Camden red in a deep hue, and a little bit of the magenta to keep that open acrylic translucency. I don't want too much because I don't want it to be too pink. And I work that again really well so that I'm blending both colors. I'm using the Crafters Workshop number stencil again. Now be sure you use this backwards. And I decide I'm not worried about that print, that first print. So I'm just going to add it to the back of an existing jelly print that I've been brayering on with all these colors. Because I want to remove some of that red so that I can go back to my original project. And just get a hint of those those numbers in red. Well, that's it. That's my final jelly print. And now I'm ready to create a 5x7 abstract. So stay tuned and look for part 2, where I change this jelly print into an abstract piece. Thanks for watching. Here's the supplies.